Welcome to episode 6 of The Sober Stretch, the podcast for people with a problematic relationship with boozing, drinking, getting smashed, you name it. I'm Gary, I've got my mate here, Craig. We were two absolute sesh heads and we're both now sober as judges. And we're here to talk about all things sobriety and alcoholism. Good morning, Craig. How are you, man?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's Saturday, I'm not working. The weather's nice. I've had a decent kip. Yeah, good. All good.
Can't go wrong, can you? Cannot go wrong. How times have changed, eh?
Yeah.
So, today's subject, sound like a fucking show host. What we're going to talk about is excuses. Very, very, very blunt. Excuses are, for me, just something that everyone does, including me, including you. I'm sure we've done it for several years, but all they do in any angle in your life is hold you back and stop you from doing what you want to do. We could literally make an excuse for every fucking thing in the world. I could have made an excuse not to do this podcast today and said I feel tired as fuck, didn't have my 8 hours sleep. And with drinking, it's such an easy way to sort of be like, oh nah, but I mean straight away I know people be like, the Euros is on now, I'll start after the Euros. So it's just about not having excuses and facing it head on, admitting that you've got an issue and be like, right, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, because when the Euros is over, it's the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? So when does it end? It never ends, does it?
No, there'll always be something.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life was an excuse. I would say from late teens until I finally quit at 33. One excuse after another. Lying to myself, making excuses to myself, to my friends, to my family. It's just and that habit just forms, doesn't it? And it's the kind you end up. It's the go-to. You just become so accustomed to bullshitting yourself that you can't get away from it.
Yeah, and like you said, it doesn't have to just be to do with drinking, but because it's so easy to do for the drinking or getting sober, everyone will do it. There'll always be something that pops up in your life. You'll either have a wedding, a funeral, a christening, and then next minute it turns into, oh, but it's Monday. I always have a drink on Monday. I'll just get this week out of the way, and then I'll start again fresh from next week. It's just non-stop. Oh, I've had a busy week. I've had a tough week at work. If you carry on making excuses, you're just always going to be stuck in the rut. And then before you know it, another 10 years have gone past, and another 5 years. And you're thinking, fuck, why didn't I just start when I said I was going to start? And you'd be so much further ahead in your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're just tricking yourself constantly over and over again. And like you say, there is always something around the corner that is a good reason to not quit or to not start getting fit or whatever. It's like in life, anything that is when you get sober, you realize that, oh, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done this sooner. I wish I'd had the balls to do this. I wish I'd opened up sooner. And everything that you regret about not getting sober sooner typically relates to just some bullshit excuse.
100%. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
100%.
What excuses did you come up with all the time? What were your classics?
How long have you got?
All morning, bro.
I've got anxiety, so I need to drink. Even though it was the drink that was giving me fucking anxiety. A lot of the time. Obviously, everyone still gets a bit of anxiety. I still get it. And but the drink made it a lot worse. Work shit. My life is shit. So I might as well just make it even more shitter by drinking. Got stress with family. Girlfriend hates me. Let's go to the pub. United is shit. We lost. go to the pub. Honestly, it got that bad to the point where I stopped making excuses because I knew I was lying to myself. So then I just thought, fuck it, this is me, and that was it. But that it was more. I'd more give excuses to other people instead of myself, because they could be like, "Oh, I thought you weren't drinking. I thought you were going to the gym now. I thought you were changing your life." You'd be like, yeah, but I'm having a few problems at the moment. Never actually give an actual example. Do you know what I mean? But it's yeah, that was me. Any excuse you can think of.
Yeah, and certainly, I was the same without question. And I think my inner turmoil came from I knew there was no excuse,
Yeah,
and the bullshit that I used to come out because I was always telling my mates that I'm going to stop drinking, and I would always drink, and they would always just laugh at me because it was early 2000s and they didn't think it was a big problem because no one gave a shit about alcoholics back then. And but like deep down, when I was sat on the sofa on my own and everyone had gone to bed, I'd be like, "You are a fucking wet piece of shit." That's how I viewed myself, and that was another excuse to drink. But what you said about, "Oh, this is just me. I might as well just not make any more excuses." That resonates with me. When the wheels come off is when you stop making excuses. You just are that person. You are that big wasting mess. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You think, oh well, this is me, this is my life, so I'm just gonna just drink, and
yeah,
that can go on for years. You can go through a long spell of just not really caring about yourself so little that you don't even make excuses anymore. You just go, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, whatever.
yeah. Well, another thing as well that I just thought of is when everyone has stopped believing in you, and after a while they will because they're sick of hearing your excuses, and when everyone's given up on you and they're not reaching out to you or asking how you are because they know that you're a fuckhead, you don't need to make any more excuses. You've completed it. You have completed the book of excuses. So no one gives a fuck. Do you know what I mean? They're sick of hearing all your excuses. That they're just like, you crack on, mate. If you want to ruin your life, ruin your life. And it does just get to that point. I think the excuses are, you said you was going to sort your life out, and you haven't. Why have you not? And you just need to nail that. Like, it's really difficult to explain, but there are no fucking excuses. Someone could have died. It could have been horrendous. You could have had the worst things in the world, but all you're doing is lying to yourself and putting yourself back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're prolonging your own misery.
Yeah, exactly. You have to think about, I don't know, you could write a list of things down as to why you want to stop drinking. And every time you want to make an excuse, you could revert back to that list and be like, right, okay. So there is quite a lot of things that's going on there.
Yeah, the reality is life is very challenging anyway, sober or drunk. So you might as well just get on with it and get to a point where you can deal with those challenges and lose the self-pity party. Because I think, now in this day and age, everybody's saying, oh, you need to show love, you need to like nurture people and get them sober through hugs and kisses. And of course that's helpful. But there's a reason you and I get messages from a lot of people, even though we've got a tiny little podcast, is because we fucking say it like it is. And
Yeah,
no one is going to get you sober. Kathy at AA ain't going to get you sober. Mike that lives next door that brings you hot pot once a week ain't going to get you sober. Your gran ain't going to get you sober. So the only time I started to fall in love with myself was when I stopped being a pussy.
yeah. And I guarantee you had that in you before you started drinking. Do you know what I mean? You probably had that same attitude before you started drinking or become an alcoholic. And then when you become an alcoholic, that whole version of you turns into an absolute fucking pussy who's lost all fight about him. So you're so right with regards to treading on eggshells around someone, or be like, "Oh, go easy on him. He's he's not in a great place at the moment." That's fine. I understand. I understand that, and I don't want you to feel shit. But if you're an alky, you're a conniving fucker. So you will say what you want to please someone, and in the same breath, you'll be straight down the white art drinking again. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the addiction. You will lie to, or you'll say what people want to hear to give you an easier life, and think like, thank fuck they're off my back. Literally in the same breath, you're thinking, I need to get down the pub. This is stressing me out.
I did a reel the other day where I took the piss out myself about asking to borrow 20 quid until 2:30 on a Wednesday. Not even 20 quid, like 17 quid, because
17 quid, yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
can you lend me £11.30? And once you've gone through that phone call, that lie of a phone call with your mate,
Yeah.
and then you've got enough to go down and buy 6 cans of, whatever.
Yeah.
Then that's gone. That little moment of tricking yourself has gone,
Yeah.
and then you move on to the next time. It's
Yeah.
pathetic. It's pathetic. Of course, like, being in the throes of addiction is incredibly difficult, but people get sober every day. So what's your excuse?
No, exactly. But
When I started being mean on myself and like taking a very cutthroat attitude to my life, is when my sobriety really kicked in and gathered pace. Because I think I've said before, I used to walk down the street when I got a craving, I'd be like, no, 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 and
yeah.
just like aggressively talk to myself and aggressively talk myself out of drinking.
I,
No, dickhead, don't go there.
yeah. I can't stress it enough. You have to admit what you are. And let's be honest, if you're lying to your friends, you're lying to your family, you're lying about borrowing money off your friends, which I'd done so many times. I'd be late paying it back. I would always pay it back, but I would be late paying it back, and then I would lie about why I couldn't pay it back. But that's because the money that I got in, that I promised to lend them back, I would have spent on booze.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I would lie. And let's be honest, if you're a liar, you're a wanker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's horrible traits. It's narcissistic traits. And you have to just admit that you are, at the moment, not a good person. There's no two ways about it. People will say to me, why did you quit drinking? There are so many fucking reasons. But one of the main reasons is because I wasn't a good bloke. I
Yeah, man.
wasn't honest. And coming to terms with that is hard. But I was fat. I was horrible. I used to eat takeaways all the time. I was just a shit piece of society. And if I didn't admit that, there is no way I would have been sober. I would have been like, oh, life's been real tough on me. My mum and dad split up when I was 7 years old. Fucking, do you know what I mean? And that's why
Boo-hoo.
I'm here. Exactly, yeah. Fuck me. People go through so much worse. And the ones that don't have excuses are the ones that will go far, or the ones that will be happy. But you could make an excuse for absolutely everything. It starts when you're at school, when you ain't done your homework. Do you know what I mean? There isn't. I mean, what is it? The old famous one. My cat ate my fucking whatever, or I don't know. But
I think it's dog is the famous expression, but if you had a
oh,
cat.
dog. Well, I probably use dog, so I said cat.
Yeah. You've already said that your dog died a month ago. And
Yeah,
you're like, oh yeah, my dog. I mean, my hamster. I mean, pathetic.
yeah. God
But
bless
it
go
is.
for the animals on Noah's Ark.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
My giraffe ate my homework, miss. My duck-billed platypus poured this Heineken down my throat, sir.
Yeah. When my dog did actually pass away, it's still sad now. It must have been years ago now, but the first thing I done was this. I remember my dog got put down, and I said to my dad I'd be there, but I was too emotionally fucked to be there, so I just Houdini'd and went straight to the boozer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like 10 in the morning, just sweet, man. Make it 10 times worse.
Make 10 times worse. Yeah. Make it 100 times better for about 3 hours, and then 100 times worse for
Dog's
the
still dead
rest
in
of
the
the
morning,
day.
isn't it? And you've got a hangover.
Exactly. Dog is, with the greatest respect, the dog's dead. You need a drink to cope with the death of your dog. You've got a big problem.
Yeah, see, I thought that was so normal. And crazy.
But alcoholics think that their behaviour is normal because it becomes so habitual, and in the end, you do convince yourself that you're right almost, because you're searching for that excuse so hard because you're so desperate to drink. You're like, I need to find an excuse. I need to find a really good, convincing excuse
Yeah,
for my mum. Like my mum.
I know.
Like, what piece of shit move is that? Is lying to your own mother on the regular?
It's
I mean,
awful.
mine was normally about money, but it was normally to appease her. It was like so she didn't worry, so she could sleep at night. She knew I liked to drink and I was a bit wild, but she had no real idea. And she said to me, since I got sober, I'm so glad I didn't know about the reality. Like, this has been quite hard
Oh,
for her. The sober stretch of my sober and sound individual page on Instagram. It's been hard for her.
yeah.
The truth has finally come out, and obviously now she doesn't have to worry about me going back there. But she said, "Oh, I couldn't have coped with that at the time." Um, but I lied to. I genuinely mean this. I lied to my mum. I mean, I wasn't a habitual liar to my mum, but I lied about a lot of stuff about money, why I wasn't answering her calls, why I wasn't visiting up north as much as I should be, just to make her not worry. So
Yeah,
I carried that weight for years, like only
yeah,
child, tight relationship with mum and dad, and be like, no, I'm just gonna lie to make her,
yeah.
happier. Which,
So
well,
sad.
really sad. And all I had to do was go, I need help.
Yeah.
Because what would she have done? Oh no, I'm not going to help you, you disgusting piss artist. You should have gone. Oh, you're my only son. I love you
Yeah,
to death. Of course, I'll help
yeah.
you. But
It would be sad for her to know that her son's going through that, especially if maybe maybe your mum was naive, or maybe because with single parents, I think, or single parents, only children, I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes they might have thought you as God's gift. Do you know what I mean? Like their perfect child,
Yeah, yeah,
and it would have been, of course, it would have been heartbreaking for your mum to hear. Because she might have doubted her parenting skills and thought, why has he done this? But in reality, it's just because you was a scumbag. Or
yeah.
it's well,
Well, no, that's
not
the whole
really.
point. I wasn't, but the
No,
alcohol created a
yeah,
scumbag. So there's a there's kind
exactly.
of there's an excuse chart, really. You get into it and you make excuses at the beginning, maybe for your behaviour, and then you make excuses for your financial situation and the rest of your life, blah blah blah, and then you start lying to yourself. But when you get sober, I think my favourite thing about being sober, like you just said, it kind of pertains to that, is I'm a good bloke now. I make
Yeah,
mistakes and I do shitty things,
of course.
but like inherently, I feel like a decent person,
Yeah,
and that is such a relief. After, look, I wasn't going around stabbing grannies. Do you know what I mean? When I was drinking,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but you do start to convince yourself that you are a dirtbag, and then you just drink more because you don't want to deal with the fact that you're a dirtbag.
Yeah. No, 100%. And at the time, when you're in that fucked up place, like where all you care about is alcohol, you don't see outside that. You don't think about what other people think of you. You don't even think about yourself.
Hmm.
And then when you do come around and you've gone through the months of feeling like shit, you do have a big hit of empathy, and your emotions come back, and then you start feeling a bit of guilt as well. And you probably had that with your mum, or with like the friends that you just used to rinse a bit for money and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and you think, how the fuck could I even make up them sick excuses? How could I even do that? But I think
But that,
most of my mates would lend me the money because they knew that I was desperate and they knew that deep down I was a good bloke. But I just think it's pretty sad how I would have said I'm really in a bad way. I would say I need money for food quite often.
mm,
Little did they know that was liquid food down the boozer.
yeah. What
But
did you have for your dinner? Yeah, 4 pints.
Stella,
Still,
yeah. So it's crazy,
it's
crazy.
exhausting. It's crazy, but it's exhausting as
Oh,
well. Even about, I found the nervous energy that consumed me when I was coming up with excuses not to go to work on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I found
yeah,
that so draining.
I know.
You know, because you almost start on a Sunday, like you said a couple of episodes ago. You knew on a Sunday, I'm good for now. Tomorrow,
yeah,
I am not getting
yeah,
on that bus to go to work tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
And I,
It's hilarious that you think your employer would believe you as
I
well.
know, yeah.
I I used to generally. Oh my! Do you know what I used to do actually? A good one. COVID was perfect for me. Um, COVID was fucking perfect. So I had COVID once, and I took photos of that positive test, and I remember actually being a bit buzzing about it because I was thinking I've actually got a really good excuse not to work, and
No,
then
that's a reason.
a reason.
Different,
Okay,
isn't it?
all right then. So that's yeah, all right,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then I would use that same test for other jobs. Do you know what I mean? Taking photos of that test in different places, so it looked like a new one. You're not going to believe it. I fucking got it again.
But
I
you only had it last week.
know. I've had the longest strand of COVID going.
Full-time COVID, long COVID,
More excuses than Matt Hancock.
May. Oh, oh God. Oh God, I'd forgotten about that little chap.
Chap.
But also, you know, like that's an insult in itself. I've got a couple of friends with long COVID, a girl that I taught in Spain and a girl I went to uni with, and they're quite they post a lot of stuff on Facebook about their plight and how they're trying to combat it. It's just an insult to people like that, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
You know, it's like, oh, I can't come to work because my granddad died. Like, how do you live with yourself when your granddad, who is alive and kicking, is walking up to the shop and you're like
Yeah,
making out that he's dead?
yeah.
I
I
don't think
mean,
I actually don't
nah,
think I use
nah.
excuses like that.
I would, I
I'm
would
too good a
never,
person.
I would never. People do. I've heard
Yeah,
of people that will do desperate things,
yeah.
desperate measures, but I couldn't personally lie about death because I would hate to tempt fate, and I think it's the most wrong thing. How can you use someone's life to now fuck that? But I have
People
heard of
do.
people. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I've heard of people. I know a few people still knocking about doing the same things. But nah, it's excuses just hold you back, and you're lying to yourself, and it can be every like for me in my industry, exercise. It's a massive thing. You can have excuses coming out of your ear holes. You moan that you're fat. Let's be honest, yeah. You moan that you said it, not me. You moan that you're overweight, and you moan that you eat too much shite. But you can't. But you can't start gym because you're not ready yet. There is there is never going to be a right time for anything. Anything. And this book that I read called Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah.
It said, have you read it?
No, but I know James Clear.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
familiar with it.
yeah. They said there was one quote in there that resonated with me a lot. Don't wait a lifetime making for the right. Don't wait a lifetime making for the right time to make a change. Yeah. So I just thought, fuck, that's so true because you can literally waste a whole entire lifetime saying shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's too late. You're dead now. It's happened. Been and gone.
Yeah,
So
you've got like You said it again a few weeks ago. It's not. It's cheap. People say it's cheesy, but it's not. You literally live once. Are you going to spend it in the fucking pub? You know, is
Yeah,
that what you want for your own life? Is that what you want for your life? I had a couple of hours yesterday at work where I dropped my client off at his mum and dad's, and then I went. I live near Brighton, and I was walking around an area of Brighton, and I walked past about 6 pubs, and I looked inside, and I thought, I wasted my life in them. Honestly, they looked so boring and insipid and devoid of life. And I thought, God, I used to walk in, I used to do everything in my power to scrape enough money together to walk into one of them on a day where I'd phoned in sick just so I could sit at the bar and watch Sky Sports News and take all my troubles away with a drink. I was like, you
yeah,
fucking idiot, man. Like
yeah,
living once and spending it in those. Oh, look, I'm not demonizing alcohol and I'm not demonizing going to the pub and watching the football with your friends. That's fine. But for you and I, that was a life wrecker.
yeah. But we,
So
but we wasn't just going there to watch the football with our friends, were we? We was there. We was knocking on the door at 8 in the morning.
yeah, no friends, no football. No, didn't need
Yeah,
any of those two.
yeah,
Either of those two.
yeah. I really want to watch this morning with with 6 beers.
Well, Richard and Judy are doing the book club today. Let's get some bevies in. Fucking
um,
dicks, man.
but no, we needed it because we actually did need it, and alcoholics need alcohol because otherwise that feeling. I don't know if the feeling's the same. Like the feeling, the feeling when you need a drink. It's hard to pinpoint, but
Yeah.
for me, I don't know if everyone's different, but for me, I would feel like I'm just gonna burst. I'd feel like something bad is gonna happen. I feel like my brain is frying, and as soon as I have them drinks or them couple, it would take me about 3 beers to feel normal
Yeah.
before I can even semi-function. But that's why you would make so many excuses, because you would do everything that you possibly can to get them beers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Move mountains.
Literally,
Tell the
literally.
dearest people in your life the biggest bullshit stories just so you can have a drink. Come on.
It's so bad. I laugh because it is sick and twisted.
I mean, I sometimes used to walk up to the bar and go, "Can I get a pint of I don't know, a pint of whatever, Stella?" And if I was with my no, if I was this happened to me often, or I made this happen regularly. I'd go to the pub with a mate. I'd go to the bar. They'd go and have a piss or sit down and get us a table, and I'd walk to the bar and I'd order drinks for both of us. I'd order mine first, and it would come to me while they were pouring the other pint. I would drink like 2/3 of it, and then I'd order another half just to
Yeah,
top it up, so I could go
yeah,
to the table and like have as much of a pint
yeah.
as my mate. Like that is desperation. You're in the pub. The man is pouring you a drink. Like you don't need the other half. But I did. I was like, oh well, I'm going to swig this. I can't possibly walk to the table with half a pint. I
I
mean,
know that so well. That's like safety. As an alcoholic, that's like safety. Like you've got a bit of ammunition behind you, because without it, you've got fuck all. The
yeah. And we've spoken
desperation's
about.
the
Sorry, go on.
desperation's horrible, and I know what you mean. Before the geezers even put the pint down, you're trying to snatch it out his hand because you need
Yeah.
it so quickly.
I'll take
And
that. I'll take that. Don't put it down.
the quicker it goes down, the better you feel. I would. Do you know another thing that's just made me think as well? There was my dad used to live in a little village, and in villages they're all like local villages. Everyone knows everyone, and it's all quite trustworthy and stuff like that. And one of the pubs done taps. So for me, that was absolute. That was like a huge lifeline. And obviously, I rarely had money, so I could just go to the pub, especially if I was like unemployed at the time, scumbag. I would go to the pub and I'd just be like, "Yeah, put up my tab," and if they said yes, I was fucking buzzing. But then my tab would get loaded to like 50 quid, and they'd be like, "Nah, no more." And then that's when the excuses would come out. They'd be like, "You're gonna pay your tab?" I'd be like, "Yeah, 2 seconds." pretend to check my pockets full well knowing that there's no money in there. Like, oh, you're not going to believe it. Left my wallet at home again. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
And then,
you'll
like,
believe it. A pixie flew down, took my wallet out of my jean pocket, slid my card out, and then the pixie flew off with it. It was really weird because I don't believe in
really,
pixies, but I'm fucking telling you, there was a pixie there. You know,
you ain't going to
pathetic,
believe it.
man. The thing is, I think when this might sound uncomfortable for some people listening, but the whole point, the people that listen to this, and we do get messages on our Instagram from the same people, you know, repeatedly. So there are people that are listening to this religiously. I know that for a fact. And if you are, I hope this episode helps because after, if you don't drink as much as we did, there is no excuse for you to not get sober.
No.
Because if two people, decent lads that became lying toe rags. I mean, it wasn't all the time. I was still a decent lad even when I was drinking, but surrounding alcohol and finances and that kind of thing and commitments just became lying toe rags. If we can sort it out and you're drinking your 3 cans a night and you're worried about it, you've got no excuse.
No.
Because like our lives were savaged, ravaged and ruined by alcohol, our health, every element really. I think we both agree that, don't we? Like when we were both drinking, our lives were fucking shit.
Yeah.
We did it, and we
Yeah.
did it because we stopped making excuses. That was basically how I got sober. I thought, right, I can't bullshit myself anymore. I am going to go to fucking war with this mess, and I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to other people. And I went to AA for a little while, read the big book, did try to make amends with some people, which really helped. And that's just common sense, man. That's not like, oh, yeah, if you go to AA, you have to make amends with people. It's like, that's a fucking good thing, you
Yeah.
know? And if when you start slowly to cleanse, the excuses you make across the whole board of your life just start to drop off.
Yeah.
Because you end up, you're desperate to claw back your integrity and your decency. So if you start to own your sobriety or own your getting away from alcoholism, you start to want to be honest to a fault. Do you know what I mean? Did you find
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. 100%. And what I was just thinking as well is when you said about, oh, to get sober you need to do this. I feel like again that could probably not scare people, but a lot of shit that you read. This is to people listening. A lot of shit that you read and hear and see on the internet, or what people tell you to get sober, you need to do this, that, the other. Is some of it might be true, but it's also bollocks. To get sober, you've just got to do what you need to do it. There is no right or wrong way, unless you're killing people in the process or committing crimes and that. You just do what you need to do. And what you said as well, if we can get sober, then you can. Again, it's not cringy, but to give you an idea of how bad I was drinking gin before work. I was filling bottles up whilst I was at work of gin and other clear substances that would look like water
Yeah.
to get through the day. On every break, I was going to the shop to drink. I would drink drive, lost my driving license, drink driving. I would have to have beers before I got my hair cut because I couldn't sit still for a few seconds I couldn't sit still for half hour without needing a drink. So maybe I wasn't the worst, but I was fucking bad.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
just to give you a bit of faith, really, you can definitely get sober. If it's ruining your life, when there's a will, there's a way. If you have a healthy relationship, probably don't need to listen to the podcast with a healthy relationship with alcohol. Probably don't need to listen to it. But if you know you've got a problem and know you would benefit or be a better person, just give it a good go. Stop making excuses.
Yeah, I mean, the only person that I know that's listening to this that doesn't have a drinking problem is my mum.
Yeah.
because she just wants to listen to it because I'm a boy. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, I've got a few friends that have listened to it, and I know that they've got troublesome issues with alcohol. But like, when you stopped, how did you stop making excuses?
Well,
Because you said there's no right or wrong way, and I agree with that. But I do think you need to plan for it. You need to like be ready for triggers,
yeah,
cravings.
yeah,
I think you need to find replacement activities. I think you need to have a
yeah.
support mechanism in place. But ultimately, none of that fucking matters if you don't find the bollocks.
No, exactly. But what I'm saying is, people like you know, if you typed in on Google how to get sober, there would be a step by step thing. Yeah, because there is, or some
For
divvy,
everything, guys. Yeah.
would have made up some criteria. Yeah, that you must follow. And then if you don't follow one of them criteria, you fall off the bandwagon, and then you think, oh, fucked it, you go back to drinking. So I think that's what I'm saying is about, yeah, you should definitely plan and brace yourself for it. But basically, how I stopped making excuses was, um, when my nan and granddad passed away just over 2 years ago. My dad told me that my granddad said he didn't want us to, because we got a bit of inheritance, and he said he didn't want us to piss it up the wall. And my granddad literally did not spend fuck all of his hard-earned money. He worked hard his whole life, and he was still doing bits in his garden until the day that he dropped. And he said he didn't want us to piss the money up the wall. He went without carers because of the money, and he wanted the inheritance to go to us.
Mm.
And I thought, do you know what? If he's sacrificed his own money for us, who the fuck am I? Do you know what I mean? He never made excuses. The guy had a triple heart bypass when he and got a life expectancy of 15 years. And he well and truly outlived that. So I thought, and here's me making my bullshit excuses that I can't go without a drink. So for me, that was a big part of it, to make me
Wow.
man up and think, yeah, time to man up and stop being such a little bitch. True though.
Well, yeah.
True
I
though.
mean, if we had 900,000 followers, people would be like, "Oh, man up." We don't use that word now, but like, all right, person up. Just sort it. You know, that's not to say we don't recognize the fact that we couldn't do that for a while, for a number of years. We get it. You and I get that. We are very open about how, what quote, pathetic we were, but we also accept there was an addiction at play. But choose it. Choose the rest of your life with addiction, or choose it without it.
Exactly.
Like, it's in your hands.
Exactly.
And the support's out there. I got sober in 2014. Instagram, I've done not. I must have existed, but it was new. There was none of this support where, oh, sober Instagram. Sober Instagram is a wonderful place. I am deeply involved in it. I've made loads of new contacts and friends. And when I finish with you, I'm going into London to film a podcast with a lad that I've just clicked with. All these new contacts and acquaintances. Sober Instagram is mega. But I got sober at 3 a.m, walking around the streets and just talking to myself. So I don't know what point I'm trying to make.
There's no excuses.
It's just there aren't any, are they?
That's
Really,
I
you can
think
lie
that's
all
what
your
you're
life.
getting at.
But
That
when there's a guy in Spain, right, who's got cerebral palsy or something, as debilitating as that, who ran a marathon.
yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Right? What do you
And you
want?
can't go without a Stella.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You fucking loser.
But no,
It's
I understand how hard it is, because it was so hard, and you do as well. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But you have to weigh it up. Pros and cons. Write a list down of how booze or drugs or whatever is affecting your life. Is it affecting your relationship? Is it affecting your relationship with your kids? Are you a shit dad? Are you a shit mum? Is it affecting your work? All these things, and then tell me the positives about it.
Mm.
And then every time you want to make an excuse, revert to it. I sound like a CBT fucking therapist. Every time you want to make another bullshit excuse, we won the league. Me and you won't be saying that because we won't. But it's just, yeah, but what's that going to do for you? You're just going to go straight back to square one of having a shit relationship with everyone around you, no money. Surely you don't want that. You wake up in the morning and you're so fucking thankful that you didn't have a drink. I still have dreams now that I've drunk. I had a dream the other night that I drunk, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't believe it." And I woke up and I realised it was just a dream, and I was like, "Buzzing, thank fuck for that, because that would have been bad."
Yeah, I get them. I get them occasionally. I had one recently where I was on a plane and I was drinking, and I knew as it was going up to my mouth, I was like, "What are you doing? Just put
Yeah,
it down." But I couldn't, and I drank it. And when I woke up, I was relieved, so relieved.
yeah,
Because as my hand was moving up towards my mouth, I was like, "Don't! You've got too much to lose. You've got a daughter and a stepdaughter and a nice home, and you don't do it. Oh, no bed."
yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So even in your dreams, you know how wrong it is and
I know.
how scary it is to possibly go back to it. It's not fun.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But the
What?
thing is,
Go on.
make yeah, no, just like when we consider what you do with your life now, you know, physical. What is it? What is the P for? Personal or physical?
Personal.
I ain't got a clue, man. Oh, mate, I went for 2 runs this week.
Buzzing. How'd you
Yeah,
get on?
mate. I've gone off on a tangent here, but yeah, I got my mate at work ran the Brighton Marathon recently, and he's been like, "Come on, you knobhead, come start running with me in the
Yeah, man.
mornings." And I did 5K without stopping on Tuesday, and then I did 6K because he pushed me. He was like, "Come on, we can get an extra K, an extra K.
Yeah,
We get an extra KM out of this." And I did 6K without stopping in 34 minutes, and I felt amazing.
that's really good.
Because I think it's a bit like muscle memory, isn't it? Like I used to run a fair bit, especially when maybe a year into getting sober, I started taking up running relatively regularly, seriously, but I haven't for a while. So, but I think it's still in me,
Yeah,
and it was all
yeah,
mental. I knew like we were doing loops of the village that we work in, and I worked out how long it was going to take and how many loops. And at the beginning, I was channeling my inner Goggins.
yeah, yeah,
I really was. I was like, this is mental. This is not physical. You are 43, you're 6'3", and you're about 12 and a half stone. You can run
yeah,
5 freaking kilometers, mate.
yeah.
And if you don't, it's all in your head. So I was just
100%.
right, Goggins, stay hard, stay hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
got there, and it was harder the next day with a 6K because that
yeah,
final whatever 6 or 7 minutes was tough, but it was all in my head. And
yeah.
it's the same for getting sober, man. It's just all in your head. It's all
100%.
mental. Everything's mental. The body
You're
will give the body will give you more if your
Yeah,
brain will trick your body into it. Would you not agree as a PT?
100%. I read David Goggins' book, and it was unreal. And he's one for excuses, man. If
Oh, he's
anyone
the
can make
ultimate.
excuses, he can make excuses. He had the roughest upbringing, the shittest upbringing, and he was a fat. He calls himself a fat, lazy piece of shit. And look at him. That's a man that doesn't make excuses. But no, 100%. Running, firstly, is all in the mind. Unless you're really, really, really out of shape at the start, then yeah, there is limited things to what your body can do. But your body can do so much more than when your mind first taps out. Your mind will tap out the first kilometer, and so will your mind tap out on the first day of being sober. You'll be like, I can't do this. Your mind will keep telling you that because it wants the easy route. How much easier is it to just stop battling with your mind and have a beer?
Mm.
You know what I mean? At that time, it is so much easier. Same with running. no, it's not enjoyable running all the time. Sometimes if you have a nice leisurely fucking scenic route, yeah, it might be nice, but most of the time it's hard and you just want to stop. Same with drinking. This sober, like going sober and that, especially for the first week, the first few months, it's fucking tough. But that's because your brain is so used to having a drink that it feels like it needs that. Your body is not gonna, unless you're. I mean, you have to be careful with giving medical advice because some people do need medication for getting off booze, but your body can adapt and go through so much more than what you think. It can go without a couple of beers, maybe more than a couple.
Yeah, and the first week, which in many ways was one of the most difficult weeks of my life, I got through that week by talking to myself. That's all I could do. This internal conversation.
Yeah,
No, not today. Not
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Not today. And then on day 4, it's all about momentum. It's all about bollocks. It's all about support and a plan. But there's no support or a plan that you need on day 3 when you're lying, semi-hallucinating, sweating. You just got to hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
And people have been through worse than that. So,
But the reason why you're talking to yourself is because you know that the minute you take your foot off the gas, the minute you take your mind off it,
yeah,
because you know what you're like. You've done it for years, and that time you said, "Nah, this time it's different." So you had to keep reminding yourself, keep staying conscious of it. No, I won't drink. No, I won't drink. No, I won't drink. And it's repetitive until the point that you need to stop talking to yourself.
yeah. And in my case, that was about almost 3 years. So, but you talked about your level of drinking. Mine was the same, and that's why it took 3 years. If I drank 3/4 of a bottle of wine every night, it wouldn't have taken 3 years. But my
No,
whole
no,
existence was alcohol.
exactly.
So, and there is joy. There was a lot of joy in those 3 years. There was relief that I'd stopped lying to myself and other people. There was pride in my ability to muster the courage every single day. There was a determination and a steel that had gone through me. And I found that helped me in other elements of my life. So it's a journey. It's a bit sobriety journey and hashtag sobriety journey. But it is a fucking journey, isn't it? Like life is a journey, and
Mate,
so is sobriety. Um, but it is. It's day 1, week 1, month 1. There's so many firsts that you've got to get over. But when you've done it 3 or 4 times, your brain starts to reshape, doesn't it? And your thoughts start to change, and you just reprogram yourself.
everyone,
All because you
yeah,
stopped making excuses and you just owned it.
everyone that's struggling, yeah, should get the chance to feel like that. Like that feeling is uncomparable to anything else for you. Like the things that it's done for your life. How I've said it before, but how much different your life could have been if you didn't just make your mind up, if you carried on making excuses, how much different your life would be. And then
Oh,
we're a long time dead.
I'd be dead probably,
Exactly. And then fucking what? Do you know what I mean?
because I'm in that in sober Instagram. I read, you go down through the comments of some of the bigger pages on the more popular posts, and you see someone saying, "Yeah, I got liver disease at 39 and blah blah blah, and then I've quit and now I'm healthier, blah blah blah." And death is an option. Like it's a possibility if you carry on drinking like that. A young death
Yeah.
is like maybe to the levels that we were drinking.
100%.
Death's on the cards, man.
Mate, yeah. 100%. I used to wake up sometimes and think, how the fuck? Like, how much more of this shit can my body take?
Yeah, same here, man.
Because for me, it wasn't just that. When I would drink, I'd be sniffing coke, putting all this shit into your body. One of them days, your body's just gonna think, do you know what? Fuck this. I've had enough. Why am I
Yeah,
getting abused like this?
your body's like, can you not just stop making excuses and help me out
yeah,
here, please? Give me a lifeline, kid.
yeah,
Because I think your body's probably looking up at you going, you're a mess, knobhead, fix it. I know you've had
yeah,
some shit in your life, but there's no excuse
yeah,
big enough to justify carrying on. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It's Saturday morning if you're listening while we're recording. But you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's all in the mind. It's
I
all
just
in the
think
mind. If it's
that
not in the mind, what is it?
all in the yeah. Well,
Well, it's all in the mind, isn't it?
oh, alcohol runs in my family. It's an excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse, isn't it?
Fucking runs in my family. But it's. I just think I really do. I think it's so sad because I see people struggling, and I'm not here sat on my high horse for 1 minute. I'm still the exact same person. I know how hard it is, but I do just think it is so fucking sad because you can be so much better, and there is so much more to life than I can't even put it into words how bad I felt for so many years. But I just think, just give it a good whirl. Just go to AA or something. If I went to AA, it would have been so much easier. But each to their own.
I got a message through Sober and Sound the other day saying, "Hi, mate. I was wondering, would you recommend AA?" I never had any contact with this person. I was like, "What have you got to lose?" I said, "I don't know anything about your drinking, but if you're asking me that,
Yeah,
if you follow me and you're asking me that question, you've obviously got a problem, or you
yeah,
think you have. And if you think you
yeah,
have, you've got a problem because
yeah,
you."
exactly.
And I said, "What have you got to lose? What possible bad thing can come out of sitting in a room with a load of people in a similar situation, pouring your heart out,
Mate,
and
it's
then
bliss.
going, 'Oh, I know how you feel. I know how you feel.'"
You don't even have to talk. You can just sit at the back. I went off. Like I said, I went after 6 months, and I just sat at the back. I was like the new kid at school. To be fair, everyone did swarm me a little bit because they were like, "Oh, new boy," and all that, and they're
Yeah,
so buzzing for you, aren't they?
yeah.
And you can just sit at the back, and it's honestly mind blowing at how many people there are in a similar position to you. They're telling they're telling stories about their life that you thought only you went through that.
Hmm.
So it's so nice. It's literally it's bliss.
That alone is worth going, isn't it? Just to hear
Yeah,
other people talk about how shit their lives are as well.
yeah. And people that have been sober for 20 years, they're living proof that you can do it. And they do it for free because they want to help people because they know how bad it is and how good it can be.
Hmm.
And again, cringy. You only get one life. Don't live it fucking miserable and pissed out your nut all the time. Because you're either, if you're not pissed, you're unhappy, aren't you?
Yeah.
What an alcoholic is. An alcoholic isn't happy when they're sober. Not at all.
No. It's sobriety makes you so much more able to deal with all of life's difficulties, and you just don't need to go down that excuse route once you've got a bit of sobriety under your belt. It's another advantage to getting sober. Oh, I don't dislike myself so much. I don't lie to all the good people. um, what's your final excuse-related message to people that have listened, that have stuck with us to the end of this episode?
Excuses will only hold you back. Stop making them. If it's not drink related, it could be anything life related. Just stop making them because they're just going to prevent you from living the life that you want. Really, might get that tattooed on me.
That'd be a long tattoo. I,
Yeah,
I wouldn't want anything I've said before the hours of 8 a.m. to be tattooed on my body, because it would be like, uh, like, when sometimes I listen back to these episodes, I'm like, fucking hell, I sound like a professional footballer going,
yeah, yeah,
But we
yeah.
like to keep it real. Ours is probably the least fancy sobriety podcast going.
Not edited.
Not,
Just
not
it is
none
what it
of,
is. But
none of it.
but it has to be like that because I wouldn't do it if it was all fake and it just wouldn't sit well with me. I just want to be honest and real.
Well, there's a reason why you and I have clicked so well and got on so well, and people see it, the vibe between us. It's just because we're both quite brutally honest and happy to like cuss our former selves.
Yeah.
You know, we are not going to be the, oh, it's okay, just a few flowers and a few back rubs and you'll be sober as a judge. We're just not like that, are we? So,
No.
you know, there's a podcast for everyone with a drink problem. And we are a certain type, and I'm cool with that.
Same as me. Same as me.
Word. Craig, we are the Sober Stretch, at the Sober Stretch on Instagram. You have your own PT world. Where do people find you?
I nearly forgot. So it's at live without limits _coaching.
Cool. I am at Sober and Sound, sober, letter N, sound, sober and sound. We're on, I don't know where you're watching this or listening to it. We're on Spotify and YouTube. Go and follow us, subscribe. It helps the channel. I've always wanted to say that. Just give us a follow. It really helps the channel. But go and fucking follow us because we're here for the long term.
I'm cringing for you.
Yeah. And I was going to say one other thing. Yeah, stay sober, bitches.
Simple as that.
Take it easy, man. I'll see you
Catch
soon.
you later, man. Adios.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.